So, why are we all here today? My name is Mike Coulter. I'm an old-time, or was an old-time advertising copywriter in the old days. I know Tom Richards when he was an old-time, I think Tom was an art director in the old days. But I haven't seen Tom for quite some time. And now I work for a company called the Do Lectures. Does anybody in the room know about the Do Lectures? Effectively, the Do Lectures, the strapline of the Do Lectures is the encouragement network. There's a kind of a mindset with everybody that works for the Do is like, hey, it's great to work for the Do, lucky us. How do we get here? How do we share with other people who want to do that similar thing? Be it a craft brewer, a potter, somebody who wants to go and work for an NGO or whatever. So, we have the Do Lectures for 3 days every July, but like 360 days of the year, you know, we try and encourage people to do the things that's going to make them happy and express themselves creatively. And many people do that within their existing jobs and things. It's not saying everybody should parachute out. So, side project report. Deep dive into the power, the beauty and the importance of side projects for us as individuals, but also for companies. You know, can companies benefit from side projects, and if so, who and how? So that was our job. So we kicked off by doing tons of research, asking lots and lots of questions, some of them quite foolish, but we narrowed down some good questions, and we got a lot of really interesting starting points that got us down the track of who we should interview and what we should find out. Kept it fairly tight, but the things we covered were Galacticos, who are the superstars in the space, behaviour design, which we felt was hugely important and hugely overlooked for many reasons. I'll explain that why in a second. Obviously, time, money, teams, yeah. Good company, to be honest, was we had so many in the Galacticos. I couldn't think of a better line, so we bunked some more in good company of case studies of people who we thought had done a really good job, and then some resources and advice. But our biggest insights and probably the most pleasurable part of the whole report, writing it, was that we interviewed some of the Galacticos, some of the people who'd done some of the great stuff. And they were incredibly helpful, maybe because they were proud of what they did, but a few people knocked us back and wouldn't speak to us, but the majority of people said, we'll help in any way we can. And that struck a note with the Do Lectures, again, because you know, the encouragement network. So that was really, really cool to see. Any Coronation Street fans? Okay. Well, Coronation Street, there's a woman who's supposed to be working in the taxi office called Fat Brenda. And she's never seen, she's a bit like Captain Marion's wife in Dad's Army. You never see her, but she's referred to in the script. And there's a guy called Joe Parkinson, wanted to be a screenwriter. He had been in a museum, he wanted to be a screenwriter. And so he thought, how can I prove to people that I'm a good writer? So he thought, right, he knew everything about Coronation Street, he knew about Fat Brenda. He checked on Twitter, was the handle @FatBrenda taken? No. Right, I'll have that. Signed up for the account, started writing from the taxi office at night, showing that he knew everything about Coronation Street. And it was brilliant. Before long, 12,000 followers on Twitter. Still no job, but happy and following his dream. Then the Coronation Street blog found out about it and said, do you want to do some guest blogs with us? I'd love to. So we did some longer form stuff. They said, he's a pretty good writer, this guy, isn't he? Yeah. Then there's an actor who was in the Full Monty called Steve Hewson, ginger one, was looking for a new project, and he was following Fat Brenda on Twitter. And he said, would you write a stage play for me that I can do in drag as Fat Brenda? Would I? Wrote the stage play. So from wanting something, he wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. 3 months after the stage play, he was an in-house staff writer for ITV because he just stuck to it. So, you know, so the things that are coming out here are serendipity, but resilience, belief in yourself, creativity. And it's really interesting, this comes out a lot in side projects. You know, when you do something for the love of it, people respond to you not because you do it for money, you're doing it because you want to. So I thought it was quite a charming one. Any football fans in the audience? So, this guy's a nutcase. Actually, this guy's a nutcase. But this guy's a beautiful, he's called Johan Kramer. He was one of the greatest creative copywriters of my era. He had an agency in Holland and London called Kessels Kramer. And he's absolutely football crazy. And he works for big brands. He works out of Amsterdam. He works for massive brands. and there's really great jobs, and it's all beautiful and things like that. But he does it to fund his obsession of making films about football. So he made a film teaching Messi how to draw in a kids' drawing class. He made a film, there's a guy, I think still to this day, I hope he's still there, there's a guy still to this day who drives his car around, is it the Nou Camp where Barcelona are? Yeah. Drives it around the Nou Camp 50 times every day, not just match days, every day for luck for the team. And there's this guy who's been the commentator, like, you know, for when there are the substitutions and stuff like that, and all that kind of thing, not the match commentator, for 66 years. And he made a documentary on this guy. So he makes documentaries about Barcelona. And his last one was fantastic. It was about Johan Cruyff. So, Johan Kramer used to be called Jan Kramer, because but he changed it to Johan, not because of Cruyff, but there's a play called Neeskens in Holland. Johan Neeskens, who was even better than Cruyff, he thought. But anyhow, he's just written a beautiful, it's online on Vimeo, a beautiful film, side project, about a guy who wanted to be a photographer in Barcelona, who was given a box camera. He'd never taken a shot, but given a box camera by a cobbler and started taking photographs around the streets and around the ground. And then one day, Johan Cruyff came to town. And he took his photograph. He says, can I show you around Barcelona, Johan? He said, sure. And over the years, he built a relationship with Johan Cruyff, where he became Johan Cruyff's personal photographer. And in this documentary, you see goals that are set up. Johan Cruyff used to wear these sponsored underpants under his kit, where shots were set up, where the brand was showing when he was scoring one of the world's great goals. You couldn't make this stuff up, but I swear it's true. But it's one of the great side projects that he does. But all his side projects are football. This woman wrote a brilliant book called Out on the Wire last year. It was all about podcasts, and it was all about NPR, and all about the great American podcast series, and how to do it, and she interviewed them all. But curiously, she wrote the book as a cartoon book, a book about audios. Sounds bonkers, but it was one of our favourite books. And then obviously we always give tons and tons of resource in the back of our reports. And again, we work with maybe going to use this at Do this year. We work with great artists. It's a guy called James Victoria. He's an American artist that's done a lot of work with the Do. He's a big pal of the Do, and he wrote our slogan for this whole project, which is never not do.